It's a pretty unpleasant scene. We've been today about 70 kilometers outside of Shanghai to the upper reaches of the Huangpu River, which is the big river that flows through the city center in Shanghai. And since last Thursday, locals have been finding large numbers of dead pigs floating in their waters. The death toll this evening is about 3,300. And at one particular creek we found about six different clean-up teams on barges. There's dozens of men using bamboo to pull these animals out of the water. I would say I saw probably 50 or 60 dead pigs and men trying to remove them. Lots of them were sort of very heavily decomposed. So there was a real sort of stench about the river. Nobody seems to know why they've died or how they got there. But they are in part of the Huangpu River, which reportedly provides drinking water to parts of the city. So it's certainly of some concern to authorities. They've been saying that they have tested for things like foot and mouth, swine fever, hog cholera, another disease, and they found no trace of that. But the area where many of the pigs are coming out of the river is close to a water treatment plant, so I think that there is a sort of nervousness about whether or not there is any risk to the population. I think China has a very big problem in terms of its keeping its waterways clean and water pollution, and the Chinese government is very aware of this. But last year, one of the biggest officials in charge of Chinese rivers admitted that 20% of Chinese rivers were now absolutely toxic for human touch, and something like 40% were severely polluted. So they know there is a big problem, which is largely to do with the last 30 years of rapid economic growth without too much in the way of environmental protection.
And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there, nigh unto the mountains, a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea.